For whoever desires to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and is himself destroyed or lost? And whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him the Son of Man will be ashamed when he comes into his glory, and his Father's, and of the holy angels. One of the things that I try to be careful of is that I used to follow all these faith name it and claim it preachers like Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis, and I used to defend them and I used to follow them, and I think this verse really speaks to that. I'm not going to go on record and say that they're not Christians. A lot of people do. They go, oh, they got demonage and they're not Christians. And I'm like, are you going to really say that? That's a little bit too far for me personally. Because people can become Christians and then go so far out left field that they lose themselves, basically. This may be speaking to like myself and them and people that tend to get so caught up in, trying to get, first off, just get settled in to have enough money to make ends meet, to where you go from one extreme to another and you're living in, the lap of luxury. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I don't know. It's one of those things where a lot of people go, what's wrong with having a nice house? Nothing, but do you know where the responsibility of having and providing for your family and then trying to keep up with the Joneses, do you know the difference between those two? Because I feel like a lot of people got caught up in that. And even people who, they do it for the right intentions, sort of. They say that I'm doing it because I want people to see how great Jesus has been to me. I don't know. I see a lot of both sides of the equation on that. I feel like some people get caught in a trap where they're so busy catching up with the Joneses that they've lost something along the way. Now, I'm not going to say that of all people. I had a best friend back in college that he lived in a great, huge, beautiful house. His family, his dad was one of those people that built houses. And they really put Jesus to the center of their life, and they had morning devotions when I'd stay overnight, and it was just, wow, they really did have both sides of the coin there. But I don't think that they ever treated it like I gotta make the world believe that, I'm rich because of this or that. I think he just did what he did, and since he built houses, maybe that's just why he had such a nice house. They didn't have a lot of material possessions as far as like me having toys or comic books or anything else. They weren't really into that. They taught their kids pretty well. Jonathan and Drew didn't really want a lot of material possessions. They just wanted to become better people. And that's, wow, I remember it really put an impression on my life at that time. Because I was here chasing after comic books and stuff at that time, actually. And I think his little brother, Drew, I think he was in high school or something, he was like, whoa, you got like comic books and stuff like that. And I think he wanted to become more like me or something in that aspect. And he realized that it just wasn't him, though. After he got to me, he's like, well, what do I do with the action figure now? And he was like, I don't know what to tell you. Did you grow up without action figures? And they had like an acre of land, and they had a pond, or was it a lake? I don't know what you call it. It's a pretty big pond that the entire neighborhood had, and zip lines and things like that. So there's lots to do to keep you busy. And they didn't let the world swallow them up. Now, there are people who, they live in big houses and big mansions in the place where I used to live, where, I feel sorry for them because they have to work strenuous jobs 24/7 pretty much to keep those houses from, foreclosure. I just want people to understand that we shouldn't be chasing after this world. There is a song by I think Michael Tate, I was about to say DC Talk, Michael Tate, it says, chasing after this world makes me tired. And that is so true. So we need to stop chasing the world, including myself. And that's why I'm like, oh, I gotta stop. Now that I'm going to Wilmington and I'm like, oh my gosh, all this stuff in Wilmington. No, I should be thankful that I live in a place where there's not a lot to acquire. I should really stop watching all these people on the internet that have toys and they're going after this, that, and the other, because even if I could get all that stuff, where would I put it? I really don't have the space. You probably don't understand if you live in a bigger place or a bigger house, but we don't, land down here is a quarter of an acre down here is more than an acre up in, mainland, I guess you can say. I'm not on the beach. That would be ridiculously higher, but I can hear the ocean waves and I can ride over there when I want to. So I should be thankful for the things I have instead of trying to pursue the things that I don't. So like I did just go to Wilmington. I spent some money I didn't need to. I got to pray about that. Maybe it's just because I'm so not wanting to ever go back into, hoarding or having a lot of stuff or feeling like I got to keep up and feeling like I got to buy this and feeling I got to. No. I see people do that and I don't understand. And I shouldn't want to understand. So if you're out there and you feel like you're exhausted from trying to find this, that, and the other, stop and realize, what do you have right now? Like I just did a comic book haul and I realized, my gosh, I got a lot of comic books. I didn't realize how many I had. He must have given me a different price than what he had marked on, because if I marked up, each one of them was like $2 basically, it'd been $65, and I definitely did not pay $65. I only paid $45 for the comics, and that included a pop vinyl. So I'm sitting there going, I haven't read all the comic books I have, even though I do want to continue the series. So it's one of those things where you go, do I really need it? Another thing I learned back whenever I was in college, I was taking at church, I was taking a course on discipleship. And I read a book called Disciples Are Made Not Born. Everything you have is either a tool or an idol, one of the statements says. And that also made me think, well, how am I using some of this stuff to be tools? And I started to get a little pharisaical, or like a Pharisee about it. And then I realized, you know what? If I'm making connections with other people that have similar hobbies, then it's not an idol, it's a tool. I mean, some people buy things and put them up and try to impress people, but maybe I need to be careful not to go that route. I bought something, look at me. No, I should probably stick with, the sharing of the fun and the entertainment of the things I do enjoy, and never, ever forget that God should be the center of it. Well, I just wanted to let you know that this scripture spoke to me really strongly this morning, and I didn't know if you guys have read it lately, but read it for yourself. Luke chapter 9, starting with 23, really, because I didn't want to have to flip this page over, but it's talking about take up your cross and follow him. And a cross was, of course, something about, ending your life. A lot of people try to put themselves forward. They try to put themselves out there. They try to make themselves of importance. And Jesus asks us to do the opposite. And we really, truly will be happier. All right. Well, anyway, I just wanted to see if you guys have read this lately and if you have anything to participate with this. All right. Have a great day.